Push the red button, guys. Push the button. If there were ever an act egregious enough to warrant kicking these people off of the Republican Party on the ballot, this is it. This is the time.
I'm in danger.
Welcome back to Come and Take It. And hey, welcome to the golden age of America. I am so excited. And so right now we're seeing things happen on a national level much more cohesively than we're seeing things happen at a state level here in the state of Texas.
We're learning to live with it. We have no choice. We can't lock ourselves up in a basement like Joe does.
So as most of you know, the Texas Legislature is officially underway, and last week they went through the process of selecting their Speaker of the House. Now, typically, this seems like common sense, right? But I feel like it's worth mentioning that typically the Speaker would be selected by the ruling majority party at the congressional level. You'd never see Nancy Pelosi or Hakeem Jeffries elected as Speaker when the Republicans are in power, right? Like that doesn't happen. We just saw that process happen at the beginning of the year in Congress. A handful of Republicans didn't agree with their caucus. They wanted, a different option. And they wrestled with who they wanted or whether or not they wanted them. But ultimately, they knew that they would have been going against their own majority by doing so, and knew better than to do that because they knew how much chaos it would cause when the American people gave a mandate to Congress. The American people put all of these lawmakers on notice. We expect you to govern conservatively. So
now listen up, you little turd birds.
Now, as we talk through this, just know, as we're looking at this, Washington, D.C. is now run in a more organized fashion than Texas.
What in is going on?
That's where we're at, okay? Congress can figure it out. The swamp can figure it out. They put us in power to use our majority in power to, get things done. Seems very simple, okay? But apparently, it's worth spelling out, okay? So meanwhile, here in Texas, who needs enemies with friends like these? Congratulations is in order to Democrat Dustin Burrows.
He said it. He said it. There it is.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh, Dustin Burrows is listed as a Republican. Well, that's odd. You tell me if this sounds like a Republican. Dustin Burrows was elected to the position of Texas House Speaker in the final round of voting by a majority of Democrats. 49 Democrats and 36 Republicans elected Dustin Burrows to be the next House Speaker in Texas. Only 36 Republicans. Now, remember, the other Republican candidate, the true GOP caucus nominee, Representative David Cook, the rightful Speaker of the House, he had, if caucus rules had been followed, he would be the Speaker right now. He had 55 Republicans vote for him that round. I'm not a mathematician, okay? I'm not like a big math person, but there were 55 Republican votes for David Cook and 36 Republican votes for Dustin Burrows. Does that sound like a Republican to you?
No, it doesn't, Bob. No, it doesn't.
So after the vote, the Texas Democrats, this is so embarrassing, you guys. The Texas Democrats social media account posted a quote. It was this little picture of Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and I think they tried to make him look bad. People, whenever they're writing something about their opposition, they try to pick the worst picture possible. And so they put this picture of him up, and they said, they quoted him saying, "This may be the first time in our nation's history where the minority party openly elected the speaker of a legislative body instead of the majority party." How embarrassing is that, guys? The Democrats posted Dan Patrick's quote on social media to openly brag that they have hijacked the power in the Texas legislature. They're not even trying to keep it a secret. They're just bragging about it. They're trolling us at this point because they had 36 Republicans dumb enough to go along with allowing them to wield the power that Texans did not give them. So they're over here like, oh, you guys elected 88 Republicans out of 150 seats in the body. You plebes of Texas went to your voting locations, cast your ballot overwhelmingly for Republicans because you trusted Republicans to lead better than Democrats. You trusted Republicans to better represent you. You gave a clear mandate, not just in the country, but in the state of Texas. Oh, well, joke's on you, actually, because the speaker was chosen by Democrats. This is why we can't have nice things.
Hey folks, Chris Salcedo here. I've got something special for you, the Salcedo Storm podcast. As your friendly, liberty-loving Latino, I bring you a mix of engaging discussions to help us fight for our state and our conservative values. It's the perfect way to stay informed and engaged in what's happening around you. So, what are you waiting for? Don't miss out on the storm of information and entertainment coming your way. The Salcedo Storm podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts.
There's always a group that prevents us from being able to have nice things. Okay, now, on that note, it will be a bloodbath at the ballot box next primary season for these 36 minority Republicans who were too butthurt that their guy wasn't the GOP choice.
And he promised a bloodbath.
I'm sorry, that's just what it comes down to. They have made this decision to push this as far as they pushed it because they were mad that their establishment guy isn't the guy anymore. Okay? Dade Phelan Jr. is not who Texans want anymore. By the way, they made that incredibly clear at the ballot box during the primaries. Okay? So all the signs, all the writing on the wall says that this is going to be a bloodbath at the ballot box next primary season.
I'm in danger.
I certainly will work to make sure that it is, if their names are even on the ballot as Republicans, because as a lot of you probably know, state Republican, the SREC, the State Republican Executive Committee, they've already said that they would censure any Republican who does not vote or who did not vote for the GOP caucus winner, David Cook. And coupled with the fact that the Texas GOP has a rule that if you get censured enough times, you don't get to run as a Republican in the primary for 2 years. Now, I know a lot of these rhinos are whining and crying about it, and they're throwing their little toddler fits. And, you know, it hurts their fifis to get called out, and I understand that. But they're calling this some sort of, you're eliminating them from the ballot. No, you're welcome to run on the ballot, but not as a Republican. You don't get to do whatever you'd like to do. You don't get to not adhere to the party platforms. You don't get to not adhere to the rules that you created in this instance. Dustin Burrows, looking at you. Dustin Burrows traveled the state explaining that everyone in the GOP caucus needed to support whoever the caucus winner was. And now he's the one who's completely working with the Democrats to hijack our own leadership. So I know that they're like, oh, this is voter suppression. It's not, you can't leave us off the ballot. You're welcome to run, not as a Republican. It seems to me like you work with the Democrats more. Maybe you should go cozy up to them. Maybe it's about time that you put a D in front of your name. You're welcome to run in your district as a Democrat and show your true colors and see how that works out for you. But no, we have these handful of slimy establishment swamp creatures here in the state of Texas who know that they can't get elected with their actual views. So they throw an R in front of their name and they parade themselves around to be some staunch conservative, some staunch Republican. And then when the rubber meets the road, they show their true colors. And the Texas GOP is saying, actually, no, you don't get to put our brand on your name if you aren't, in fact, our brand. So I would say, because they have this rule that says that if you get censured enough times, you don't get to run as a Republican in the primary for 2 years. Texas GOP, if you're listening, Push the red button, guys. Push the button. If there were ever an act egregious enough to warrant kicking these people off of the Republican Party on the ballot, this is it. This is the time. This is why the rule was created, to use in times like these. Okay, we the people did not show up at the ballot box for Democrats to control the Texas House, yet here we are.
These are the times that try men's souls.
We the people did not volunteer the amount of hours that we volunteered poll greeting, block walking, volunteering our time, our money, our energy that we don't often have, right? We the people did not do what we did in the primaries and in the runoffs for you guys to roll over and let the Democrats control the Texas House. There will be severe ramifications for that, severe consequences for that. I can guarantee you that there will. Now, I think that the Texas Democrats also tweeted out a statement that they said in it that this was, they're basically congratulating Dustin Burrows for his win, which I don't know about you, but all the Democrats that I know, if they felt like they were getting a bad deal, they wouldn't be posting a press release congratulating the Republican that they just helped select. So they posted this statement, and they said that it was a group of, quote, bipartisan Democrats and principled Republicans. Oh, yes. Oh, they're only principled. It's all the rest of the majority of Republicans who are not principled. And only the principled ones agree with the bipartisan Democrats. That's bipartisanship, guys. It's all about bipartisanship here. Is there any part of the Democrat agenda that you find to be principled? I'm just wondering, because I'm really tired of this bipartisan talking point. It's all about bipartisanship. We're reaching across the aisle. If I elect you as a Republican representative, I do not expect you to be bipartisan at all. There is absolutely nothing left in the modern day Democrat Party to reach out across the aisle on. Nothing. If you partner with the Democrats, you are supporting open borders, you are supporting human trafficking, you are supporting child genital mutilation, you are supporting porn in schools, you are supporting drag shows for kids, you are supporting abortion on demand, gun confiscation, vaccine mandates. You apparently don't want school choice because they're fighting like hell against that. Shall I keep going? Is there anything else in there that sounds like something that you would like to compromise on? I didn't think so. There's no compromise. There's no bipartisanship with these people. They are so far off the reservation. That's not even a topic of conversation, compromise. I didn't vote you guys in to start trying to figure out where you could be bipartisan, where you could find common ground. There is no common ground with these radicals, period, end of story. So we shall see what happens. It all still, as of the time that I'm recording this, it all still is up in the air. Dustin Burrows has slow walked the adoption of the new House rules. Some are saying because he wants to try to figure out how to avoid banning Democrat chairs. Because you see, you don't get the Democrats to vote for you without some sort of promise. Without some sort of, it's a give and take, right? It's a compromise. What is the compromise? Is it Democrat chairs? Is it killing school choice? What piece of legislation or what committee chairmanship did you promise them, Dustin Burrows? Did you betray us and promise them? That still remains to be seen. But this entire process will come back to haunt him. I can tell you that. This entire process will come back to haunt all of them. This entire process made Texas the laughingstock amongst conservative media this past week. It was embarrassing. So, look, I would just say this. Be careful what your next move is, Dustin. because we're all watching. And maybe we had too many primaries to be involved in, that we were a little stretched thin, but we got a good chunk of that done this last primary season. And there's a whole new set, a new list of people that we may need to target. Yeah, I said target.
I'm going to lose.
I did. I said target. I know you and your little buddies like to think that that's a threat. No, it's not a threat. It's just a promise. That's how primaries work. You piss off the people who voted you in. There's a saying, I'm not going to say it. I'll get in trouble if I say it. But the acronym is FAFO. So you guys remember to like this page, subscribe. Sometimes some people have told me that they get unsubscribed. So make sure that you are still subscribed, even if you already have. If you're listening on an audio podcast, remember, please go ahead and subscribe, rate, and review the show. That always helps us in the algorithm. And comment if you are here on YouTube. That will help us as well. We will keep an eye on the landscape here in Texas. And, who knows what this week may bring here in the golden age of America and the crappy age here in Texas. But whatever it is, we'll talk it out together. Y'all have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Come and Take It.